In a world that constantly pulls our attention in every direction, finding even a moment of peace can feel impossible. Yet within each of us lies a quiet center of calm waiting to be awakened. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Deepak Chopra, these simple meditation approaches offer a direct path towards stillness, clarity, and emotional balance. When we learn to pause, breathe, and reconnect with our inner self, stress loses its power and anxiety begins to fade. Today, let us explore how a few small but powerful practices can help restore a sense of grounded presence and unlock the peace that has always belonged to you. When we begin to explore the power of mindful breathing, we open a doorway into one of the most accessible forms of inner transformation. A single breath can shift the direction of a moment and eventually the direction of an entire life. Breathing is not only a physical function, it is an invitation to return to the present and step away from the noise of the world. Deepak Chopra often speaks of the space between thoughts, and in that same spirit, mindful breathing creates a space between stress and peace. As you listen, allow yourself to notice your own breath without trying to control it. Simply allow it to be a gentle reminder that calm is always within reach. Most of the stress we experience does not come from the events themselves, but from our immediate reaction to them. Our breath becomes shallow, our muscles tighten, and our mind begins to race ahead of us. Mindful breathing interrupts this cycle by calling us back into our body, where clarity begins. It gently slows the rushing thoughts and eases the tension that often goes unnoticed. By paying attention to the breath, we send a signal to our entire system that we are safe. That simple awareness becomes the first step in reclaiming our power from anxiety. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting in a quiet space with your hands resting softly in your lap. As you inhale, you feel a calm rise within you, and as you exhale, you feel your worries begin to fall away. The breath becomes a soothing wave, cleansing and smoothing the edges of your thoughts. This is not imagination alone. This is the natural effect of tuning into your breath. It reconnects you to the rhythm that has sustained your life from the moment you were born, a rhythm that becomes an anchor when the world feels turbulent or overwhelming. Mindful breathing teaches you to shift from reaction to intention. Instead of responding with fear, you begin responding with awareness. Instead of drowning in pressure, you begin to rise into clarity. It shows you that peace is not a distant dream, but a practice of returning to yourself. With each breath, you make the choice to quiet the mind and steady the heart. This choice transforms not only the moment, but the way you navigate your entire day. There is a strength in stillness that we often forget we possess. The more we practice mindful breathing, the more we learn to rest in that strength. Stress begins to lose its force, and anxiety no longer dictates our emotional landscape. We start discovering pockets of calm. Even in the most demanding situations, the breath becomes a faithful companion, guiding us back to balance. It reminds us that peace is not found outside, but built within. When we integrate mindful breathing into daily life, it becomes a natural response rather than a forced exercise. You find yourself breathing deeply before entering a difficult conversation. You pause and breathe when challenges appear unexpectedly. You breathe when you are grateful and when you are overwhelmed. In these simple actions, you develop emotional resilience that anchors you. And with each passing day, this resilience becomes a quiet, unwavering confidence. Deepak Chopra often speaks about the unity of mind, body, and spirit. Mindful breathing brings this unity into focus. By harmonizing all three, the mind settles, the body softens, and the spirit awakens to a sense of inner peace. This harmony lifts you out of the frantic pace of life and into a state of centered awareness. It is in this space that solutions become clear and worries lose their grip. With every breath, you strengthen your connection to your true self. You may begin to notice that mindful breathing changes how you perceive stress altogether. Pressure no longer feels like an enemy, but a signal to return to yourself. Moments that once felt overwhelming become opportunities to practice calm. Your breath becomes both a shield and a guide, allowing you to move with intention. This inner shift brings a sense of power that external Circumstances cannot take away because you are no longer reacting, you are creating your emotional state. At times, we forget that the body is wise and speaks to us in subtle ways. The breath is one of its clearest messages, and mindful breathing helps us listen. When the breath is slow, the heart eases, and the mind becomes steady. When the breath is deep, the nervous system relaxes and clarity returns. By learning to observe these changes, we deepen our relationship with ourselves, and this relationship becomes a foundation for lifelong emotional well-being. As you continue embracing mindful breathing, you may feel a gentleness that spreads through your chest. It is the softness of presence, the softness of being aware without judgment. This gentle awareness opens a pathway for compassion, both for yourself and for others. You begin to hold yourself with more kindness instead of pressure. You respond with understanding instead of impatience. And this quiet compassion radiates outward into every interaction you have. Mindful breathing also nurtures gratitude in a very natural way. When you slow down enough to feel your breath, you slow down enough to notice your life instead of rushing through your days. You begin to witness small moments of beauty, a warm light falling through a window, the sound of laughter, the feeling of your feet on the ground. These moments become reminders that there is still wonder in the world, even during stressful times. Breathing brings you back to the richness of what is already here. There will be days when stress feels louder than your calm, and that is part of the journey. Mindful breathing does not eliminate challenges, but it changes how you face them. It gives you a steady center to return to. When everything else seems uncertain, it helps you pause before reacting, think before speaking, and breathe before breaking. In these pauses, you rediscover your inner strength, and this strength allows you to rise above the weight of anxiety. When we practice mindful breathing consistently, we begin to influence the energy we carry. Stressful environments no longer penetrate our peace with the same force. Instead, we carry a sense of grounded presence that others can feel. People may not know why, but they sense calm when they are near you. This peaceful energy becomes a quiet gift you share simply by being centered, and it all begins with the simple act of returning to your breath. Breath connects us not only to ourselves, but to the world around us. It reminds us that we are part of something larger than our worries. With every inhale, we receive life, and with every exhale, we release what no longer serves us. That cycle becomes a meditation in itself, a rhythm of renewal. Through this rhythm, we learn to let go of tension and welcome clarity. We learn to make space for peace even on the most demanding days. The practice of mindful breathing can transform stress into a moment of awakening. Instead of tightening, you soften. Instead of rushing, you pause. You begin to meet each experience with greater presence. This presence helps you recognize that stress does not have to control your inner world. Your breath becomes a tool that gently guides you back to your true center, a center where strength and serenity coexist. The more your breath becomes a companion in times of stress, the more empowered you feel. You no longer wait for peace to arrive from outside circumstance. You create it from within. Every time you inhale and exhale with awareness, this realization is deeply liberating because it shifts your focus from external chaos to internal control. Your inner calm becomes an act of personal ownership, a declaration that your peace belongs to you and cannot be taken away. By embracing mindful breathing, you nurture the ability to respond with clarity. Instead of fear, you begin to trust yourself again. Trust your judgment. Trust your inner wisdom. Stress becomes less of a burden and more of an opportunity to practice presence. Anxiety becomes less intimidating when you know you can return to your breath at any moment. This knowledge brings a quiet empowerment that stays with you wherever you go, and it reminds you that peace is never far. It is always as close as your next breath. As we bring this reflection to a close, remember that mindful breathing is not a complex practice reserved for experts. It is a simple, gentle, and powerful way to restore balance in your life. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, pause and breathe. Whenever your thoughts race, pause and breathe. Let your breath guide you back to your center. Let it remind you that peace always begins within you. When we turn our attention toward gentle body awareness, we awaken a deeper connection to the physical home that carries us through every moment of life. So often we live disconnected from our body, moving through the world on autopilot and ignoring the signals that are trying to guide us. Stress builds gradually, and anxiety spreads quietly because we fail to notice tension forming inside us. By learning to tune in with compassion, we reclaim a sense of control and clarity that often feels lost. Deepak Chopra reminds us that the body is the vessel of consciousness, and when we honor it, we honor our inner wisdom. Let this moment be an invitation to reconnect with your body in a soft, patient, and loving way. Gentle body awareness begins with noticing without judgment. This means observing the sensations in your body as if you were listening to a trusted friend. You notice the tightness in your shoulders, or the heaviness in your chest, or the trembling in your hands. Instead of pushing it away, you breathe into it with empathy. This act of acknowledgement transforms tension because the body feels heard, and when the body feels heard, it begins to soften. Naturally, the stress you carry often accumulates in small hidden places. Your neck tightens while you work, your jaw clenches while you think, and your stomach tightens when you worry. These signals are not signs of weakness, they are messages from your mind-body connection. Gentle body awareness reveals these messages so you can respond with calm intention. It reminds you to release what you have been holding on to without realizing it, and in releasing you return to a grounded and centered presence. There is a quiet wisdom stored in your muscles, your breath, and your posture. When you bring attention to these areas, you awaken that wisdom and allow it to guide you back to balance. By scanning your body slowly, you begin noticing where stress has settled. Through slow, intentional awareness, each area begins to loosen and relax. This process becomes a meditation in motion, a gentle dialogue with your physical self, a dialogue that restores harmony between body and mind. Imagine sitting peacefully and bringing awareness to your hands. Feel the warmth resting in your palms and the subtle pulsing of life beneath your skin. Now bringing that same awareness to your shoulders, you notice the weight you have been carrying. With each breath, you allow that weight to melt away. This practice teaches you that relaxation is not forced, but allowed through patient presence and compassionate acknowledgement. As you deepen your awareness, you may begin to sense emotions stored in different parts of your body. Fear may linger in your stomach, while sadness may rest in your chest. These emotional imprints are natural reflections of your lived experiences. Gentle body awareness invites you to breathe into these areas with kindness. You do not try to erase the emotions, you simply let them move as they are ready, and in that allowing you create emotional freedom. There is incredible healing in giving your body your full attention. Your presence alone calms your nervous system because it feels supported. Just as you comfort a friend, your awareness comforts your physical self. The more you practice this, the more your body begins to trust you. With trust comes deeper relaxation. With relaxation comes clarity, and with clarity comes peace that stress and anxiety cannot easily disrupt. Gentle body awareness also teaches you to slow down from the frantic pace of daily life. Instead of rushing from task to task, you begin moving with intention. Your steps become steadier, your actions become more present, your mind becomes quieter. You start feeling grounded even in busy environments. This grounding becomes a shield that reduces the impact of outside chaos, and gradually your inner world becomes calmer and stronger. As your awareness grows, you begin to catch early signals of stress. Before they overwhelm you, you notice the rising tension in your back and breathe into it. Before it grows, you sense the tightness in your chest and allow it to soften before anxiety takes hold. These early responses create emotional resilience because you are acting before the storm arrives. It is a practice of prevention rather than reaction, a practice that transforms your relationship with stress entirely. Gentle body awareness reconnects you with the present moment. The body only exists in the now, and by connecting with it, you return to the now. This simple return dissolves much of anxiety which is born from thoughts of the future. It also dissolves the heaviness of past regrets, which often settle in the body. Your awareness becomes a bridge from mental noise back to inner calm, a bridge that leads you to stillness. With every step in moments of mindful awareness, you may begin feeling gratitude toward your body, gratitude for carrying you through long days, for breathing without being asked, for healing from pain, for adapting to every emotion, and for supporting you even in exhaustion. This gratitude softens your internal world and opens your heart. It strengthens your connection to yourself and deepens your sense of compassion that eventually extends to others with ease. Deepak Chopra teaches that the body is both physical and energetic. When you practice gentle awareness, you not only relax muscle tension, but also calm emotional energy. This creates a ripple of peace that moves through your entire system. You begin feeling lighter, clearer, and more centered. Your thoughts become quieter, and your emotions become gentler, all because you chose to listen inward instead of pushing forward unconsciously. There is beauty in the simplicity of this practice. You do not need special equipment or complex techniques. You only need a moment of stillness and willingness to observe what your body is saying. This accessibility makes gentle body awareness a powerful tool in moments of stress. Whether you are at work, at home, or in a crowded place, you can return to your body, and your body will always guide you to the present moment. The more you practice, the more naturally this awareness appears throughout your day. You begin correcting your posture. When you notice tension, you begin relaxing your shoulders. When you feel pressure, you begin breathing deeply. When you sense your emotions rising, these small shifts create powerful changes in your mental state, and your day gradually becomes guided by calm instead of by stress. Gentle body awareness also nurtures self-acceptance. When you observe your body with kindness, you learn to accept yourself without harsh judgment. You learn to appreciate the journey your body has walked with you. You see your strength reflected in your bones, your resilience reflected in your breath. This acceptance creates inner stability that anxiety cannot easily shake, stability that becomes a foundation for emotional well-being. As this practice becomes part of your life, you may notice your intuition growing stronger. Your body begins guiding you with subtle signals. It tells you when you need rest, when you need silence, and when you need movement. You start honoring these signals instead of ignoring them. This alignment between your inner and outer actions creates deep harmony that radiates into every choice you make. When your body and mind work together, stress loses its power. Anxiety begins to loosen its grip. Because you no longer feel divided within yourself, you feel whole and centered and confident in your connection to your inner world. This sense of wholeness empowers you to face challenges with calm intention. You move through your day with a grounded presence that others can feel, presence that becomes a quiet source of inspiration. As we bring this reflection to its closing breath, remember that gentle body awareness is a loving conversation with yourself. Conversation that asks you to listen, feel, and honor your truth. Whenever life becomes overwhelming, return to your body. Allow it to guide you back to the present. Allow it to show you where peace is waiting. Allow it to bring you home to yourself. When we embrace short moments of silence, we rediscover a power that has always lived within us, a power that does not shout yet transforms everything it touches. Silence becomes a sanctuary that allows the mind to rest and the heart to breathe again. Deepak Chopra often teaches that the space between thoughts holds tremendous potential for healing. In that quiet space, stress loses its weight and anxiety begins to dissolve. What remains is clarity, presence, and a deeper connection to who you truly are. Silence does not require a retreat or a distant world free from responsibility. It only requires a single moment where you choose to pause instead of rushing. This pause becomes a doorway into calm that can be entered at any point in your day. Even a few seconds of quiet resets the nervous system and brings balance back into your body. Stress fades because silence interrupts the spiral of overthinking. It brings you back to the center where peace naturally lives. Think of silence as a soft landing for your busy mind, a moment where the constant noise finally releases its grip on your attention. In that gentle stillness, your thoughts slow down. Like leaves drifting on a quiet river, you begin to listen inward rather than outward, and this shift is powerful because when you listen inward, you hear the truth beneath the noise, a truth that guides you with calm confidence and inner wisdom. Short moments of silence create mental spaciousness. This spaciousness gives your mind room, to sort emotions room, to find clarity without you. Silence thoughts collide and create confusion that fuels anxiety. With silence, thoughts settle and reveal the answers you could not see before. Silence becomes a compassionate teacher, showing you what truly matters and reminding you that peace is not loud, it is steady and deeply present. There is a sacred quality in even the briefest moment of quiet. Your breathing becomes more natural, your muscles let go of hidden tension, your heart begins to soften as you return to yourself. In this softness, you find strength, not weakness, strength rooted in awareness, clarity, and presence, strength that grows every time you allow silence to touch your life. When you practice silence regularly, stress loses much of its authority. You no longer get pulled so easily into emotional chaos. Instead, you become calm observer who responds with intention. This shift transforms your entire emotional landscape. You move through your day with greater control and deeper peace, and others instinctively feel the quiet confidence you carry. Moments of silence also help you reconnect with your intuition, that quiet inner voice that always knows the path forward. In the noise of life, intuition becomes drowned out, but in silence it becomes clear, steady, and reassuring. It speaks through feelings, sensations, and soft insights, and these insights guide you toward choices that support your well-being. Short silence practices also nourish your emotional health. They create space for emotions to rise gently without overwhelming you. Instead of suppressing feelings, you meet them with calm curiosity. You allow them to move through you rather than stay trapped inside you. This emotional flow brings freedom and releases tension from both mind and body, a freedom that makes room for joy and peace to re-enter your life. Every time you enter silence, you give your mind a chance to reset. You break the cycle of constant stimulation and allow balance to return. This reset is vital because the world demands constant attention. Without silence, you become overwhelmed and disconnected. With silence, you become centered, open, and emotionally grounded. It is one of the simplest and most powerful tools you can use each day. Imagine standing outside at dawn when the world has not yet awakened. The air is still, the light is soft, and the silence is profound. In that moment, you feel connected to something larger than yourself. You feel the calm of the world settling into your own heart. This is the energy you invite into your life with each moment of silence, an energy that brings harmony, clarity, and deep inner peace. Silence teaches you to be present. In presence, anxiety fades because it cannot survive in the now. Stress weakens because it thrives on past fears and future worries. But in the present, all you meet is this breath, this moment, this awareness. Silence brings you back to this truth again and again, a truth that restores your power from within. Short moments of silence can be found anywhere in the pause before you speak, in the breath you take before reacting, in the quiet moments between tasks, in the stillness of early morning. These brief pauses accumulate and shape your entire emotional state. They become small anchors that steady you throughout the day, anchors that help you remain grounded no matter what arises. As you deepen your relationship with silence, you begin to understand its transformative nature. Silence is not emptiness, it is nourishment. It fills you with clarity, fills you with vision, fills you with peace. It connects you to the deep well of wisdom inside you, wisdom that becomes accessible only when the outer noise quiets, and this wisdom becomes a guiding light in stressful moments. When silence becomes a daily practice, your thoughts become more organized, your emotions become easier to understand, your reactions become calmer, and your decisions become clearer. You feel more centered and more connected to your purpose. You begin to live with intention instead of habit. Intention shaped by awareness and supported by inner peace. Silence also opens the door to gratitude. In stillness, you notice the small details you often overlook, the warmth of sunlight, the softness of your breath, the simple gift of being alive. These moments awaken appreciation that lifts your spirit. Gratitude then becomes a natural companion of silence, and together they create a powerful antidote to stress and anxiety. The energy you carry begins to shift as silence becomes part of your life. you become less reactive and more responsive, less rushed and more intentional, less chaotic and more grounded. People sense this calm and feel comforted by your presence because silence strengthens the peaceful energy you bring into the world. Deepak Chopra often reminds us that silence is the birthplace of possibility. In silence, new ideas emerge, new perspectives appear, and new solutions become clear. It is the space where your mind resets and your creativity awakens. It is where you rediscover the clarity hidden beneath stress. By choosing silence, you choose to honor your mind and spirit. You choose to create space for growth and transformation. Allow yourself moments of silence, even when life feels urgent, especially when life feels urgent, because that is when silence becomes medicine. It softens the edges of your thoughts and brings comfort to your heart. It strengthens quiet resilience that lives within you, a resilience that stress cannot weaken, a resilience born from calm awareness. Short moments of silence are simple yet profound. You can practice them in middle of conversation, or at the start of your morning during a stressful moment, or before ending your day. These brief pauses remind you that you are more than your thoughts, more than your stress, and more than your anxiety. You are the calm presence that watches it all. As silence becomes a familiar companion, your life begins to feel lighter. You start letting go of what no longer serves you. You stop carrying emotional weight that drains your energy. You learn to release tension before it becomes overwhelming. This inner spaciousness gives you room to grow and room to breathe more freely each day. Let these moments of silence become a gift. You give yourself a gift that renews your strength, clears your mind, and softens your heart. A gift that reminds you of your inherent peace. Whenever the world feels loud and overwhelming, return to silence. Let it guide you back to your true self, and let it remind you that calm is always within you. In the end, the journey toward peace begins with smallest moments. Through mindful breathing, gentle body awareness, and short moments of silence, you reclaim the balance that stress and anxiety try to take from you. These simple practices remind you that calm is not something you must chase, but something you must allow. Every breath, every pause, and every moment of presence brings you closer to the strength and clarity already within you. Carry these practices with you, and let them guide you back to yourself again and again. Let your own inner stillness become the place where you rise renewed each day.